Now, the good news is the inflation rate has come down, and now we're running at about a 3.5% inflation rate, which is still above the target of 2%. But there is some relief there. But remember, this compounds over time. So every time we get more inflation, it just means the prices continue to go up.
You're watching Restoring America, where we shine a light on the fundamental values of this country and all the reasons why they're worth saving. This week, we're going to talk about the issue at the top of everyone's minds, the economy. Is it failing? Can we really kick inflation? And if so, how? I'm Kaylee McGee-White, and this is Restoring America. It's the economy, stupid. There's a reason that quote from Democratic strategist James Carville comes back around every election cycle. We feel economic issues most directly in our wallets, our grocery bills, housing prices, and interest rates, and so much more. And this election cycle is no exception. But a strong economy is far more than just an electoral asset. It is the foundation of our security and strength. Without industry, without a prospering working class, without innovation, the U.S. would not be the global superpower that it is today. But the U.S. economy is in bad shape, as many Americans well know. Reckless government spending has saddled us with inflation that refuses to abate. Burdensome government regulation has crippled industries that are key to future growth, including oil and gas companies and tech companies. It doesn't have to be this way. We can and should adopt a better economic agenda, one that prioritizes the working class, removes needless bureaucratic red tape, and allows the free market to work as it should. This week, we're exploring which policies should be included in this agenda in our new policy series titled Restoring America's Economy, a Blueprint to a Prosperous Future. Featuring insightful commentary from leading think tanks and lawmakers, we hope this series helps chart the path toward not just economic recovery, but economic prosperity for all. My guest today is going to help us break this down. But before we get to him, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and head to washingtonexaminer.com for more. With me today is Steve Moore, an economist for the Heritage Foundation and a Trump economic advisor. Steve, thanks so much for joining us today to talk about this important topic, the economy, and the series that we're going to be running all of this week. It's no secret that Americans are feeling the squeeze right now. We have record high inflation rates, high interest rates. How did we get in this situation in the first place?
Well, it certainly wasn't Donald Trump, because when Trump left office, the inflation rate was running at about 1.5%. And so Biden came in and spent $2 or $3 trillion right out of the gate, coming out of COVID. And by the way, the COVID crisis was essentially over, and the economy, one of the things Biden said in the debate the other day was that he had inherited an economic crisis. No, he didn't. We were coming out of the crisis. And all of that spending and all of that money printing of trillions of dollars meant, what is inflation? Too many dollars chasing too few goods. And so the inflation rate went up from 1.5% to 9.1% over the course of 18 months, which is, it's hard to believe you could screw up an economy that quickly. And so, and it's been persistent. Now, the good news is the inflation rate has come down, and now we're running at about a 3.5% inflation rate, which is still above the target of 2%. But there is some relief there. But remember, this compounds over time. So every time we get more inflation, it just means the prices continue to go up. One other quick thing: officially inflation is up about 20% since Biden came in office. But when you look at what I call the necessities, gas prices, grocery prices, your rent, your mortgage, your utility bill, insurance, those costs range from 25 to 40% increase. So people are you use the word squeeze, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now, a middle class squeeze.
Absolutely, and it's ultimately an additional tax on the taxpayers.
It's a tax, right?
It is.
So that's a good point too. Biden keeps saying, I have not raised taxes on people who make less than $400,000. That's a lie.
Right.
Every time you go to the grocery store, every time you go to the gas pump, every time you buy something, you're paying essentially like a Biden sales tax for his crazy agenda.
Absolutely. Another aspect of this policy series that we're focusing on is deregulation and how a lot of bureaucratic red tape that most Americans don't even realize exists affects their everyday lives.
That's right.
So how can the next conservative administration come in and start slashing that red tape?
Well, Trump did it before, right? I mean, remember he had promised he would reduce 2 regulations for every new regulation, and instead he actually eliminated 4 regulations for every new regulation. So that was a huge benefit to the American economy. We estimate that alone saved the average family about $3,000 a year. Now, Obama and Biden both were super regulators, and so they increased regulations by about $5,000 a year per family, by the way. And you're right to describe this as kind of a hidden tax, because we don't really directly feel it, but it's embedded in the costs of things that we buy. And especially onerous and scary to me are these energy regulations, which, basically Biden's saying in 10 years you can't buy a gas car. They want to get rid of air conditioners. They want to get rid of SUVs. They want to get rid of people's gas stoves. I mean, I could go on and on and on with the things that they either want to make more expensive or even ban. And those regulations are not just expensive, they're violations of our rights as American citizens to have the products that we want.
Absolutely. And we often hear people describe the American economy as a free market economy. But there's so much government intrusion that is it really fair to say that we do have a free market economy? And should we try and get back to that point in the future?
Boy, that's a tough question. I wrote a book a few years ago called Govzilla about how the relentless growth of government is impairing our freedoms. And it is. And in fact, during COVID, during the height of COVID, when we made one of the greatest mistakes in American history, when we shut down our schools and our churches and our businesses, we've never seen anything like that before. It was an incredible abuse of power by government to basically say you can't go outside, you can't run your business, you can't go to church. I mean, come on. That should never have been allowed. And by the way, it did not save lives. In fact, those government lockdowns, according to the study we did at Unleash Prosperity, actually cost about 5 times more lives than they saved because of people's, it just ruined people's lives. So my point is that during COVID, for the first time in American history, government became 50% of our economy. In other words, we were more socialist than we were free market. It depends a lot on who wins this election. It's a pivotal election. Donald J. Trump is a free market guy. He believes in the free enterprise system. He's been a businessman. And then you've got this guy who's never, even worked for a business, let alone run a business. So I certainly would say that the Democrats want to socialize our economy. That's their framework of thinking. We as conservatives want to move more to a Reaganite free market, laissez-faire economy.
Great. Well, thank you very much for being with us today. And for more breaking news, conservative views, and exclusive interviews, check out washingtonexaminer.com.